Previously on part 2. We did better than last year. As for our goalies, we're in 80 overall territory. We now have an above average AHL lineup for our team going into NHL level games. Get absolutely styled upon. The backup is now 90 overall as an elite goaltender, and the starter is 85 overall, technically considered a starting goaltender. We're basically the Montreal Canadiens right now.
Shots fired! Shots fired!
Hey guys, what is going on today? Bojo here, and welcome back to part number 3 of our franchise mode mini-series, where we put together an entire team of 36 overall high franchise potential players and see how good they can become here in franchise mode. Once again guys, this is part number 3, so if you've missed either part number 1 or part number 2 of our mini-series, make sure to go down into the description and check out the links for each of those videos. You guys have been killing it with this series, and the likes, oh my god, the likes. Part number 1, you guys got more than 600 likes. Part number 2, you guys got more than 700 likes. So without further ado, let's go do an update here on our squad. Okay guys, so here is the squad as of right now, leading into year number 7. So this will be the 7th year of simulation. We have finally hit a 80 overall mark for our forward core. We have finally hit the 80 overall mark for our defensive core on at least one of the players, and then the starting goaltenders and the backup goaltenders are just absolutely out of their mind. We're in 90 overall range for the backup who became the starter, and our starter is now the backup at 85 overall. Now going back to the starting lineup, you guys left a ton of comments in the comment section of both the first video and last episode of what to do with this lineup, and it was a good back and forth mix. Some people wanted to keep the lines as they were, but the vast majority was that people wanted me to move players throughout the lineup so that we have the best overall guys up at the top of the lineup and the lower end overall guys who are not progressing all too much at the bottom end of the lineup. So what we have done is we moved that second line sniper all the way down from the second line to the fourth line. We moved the third liner up to the second, we moved the fourth liner up to the third, and then same thing with this one, we moved the fourth liner up to the third, and we moved the third liner down to the fourth. Some people say it defeats the purpose of playing. You name the players where you would want them to play. I agree, but by doing it this way, once again it was a vast majority, and doing it this way we'll actually be able to see where the players eventually came from. So the guy who ended up playing on the fourth line was eventually started on the second, and the guy who was all the way down the third made it to maybe either the second or the first overall line if it actually comes to that. Same thing for defense. The only change we made was we moved the first guy all the way down to the third and moved the second and the third guy up a line. That's the only changes on defense. So I'm expecting some good things from this team. I believe our highest win total was, what was it, 11? I think 11 wins last year or 11 wins the previous year, but we had like a ton of overtime losses in there as well. The back end, especially in net, is solidified. Obviously they will get better, but for right now they're pretty good. Let's get simulating through year number 7, guys. I'll jump in if anything interesting happens, and I'll see you guys at the end of it. Just kidding. I just remembered that one of the most requested things that you guys wanted me to show you from the comments of the last video is that you guys wanted to see the trade value of our players so far going into year number 7. And I will definitely do that for you guys right there. So there's all of our top forward pairs right there. I'm actually kind of surprised at these trade values. 80 overall for at least 3 of these guys, high franchise potential, and their trade values are, they're like equivalent to maybe like a struggling team's first round pick in the upcoming draft, which is actually very, very surprising to see. Even the fourth liner right there, it's really, really minuscule trade value. So you won't be able to like trade all these guys off for like superstar players. I'm very shocked as to why the trade values are. The overalls continue to increase. That trade value is just going to skyrocket, might even double by the time we get to year number 8. But that's still very surprising. So there's our left wingers right there, our right wingers. Ignore those 2 guys right there, but there's all the franchise players right there for our offense. Defensively, you can ignore Dubinsky and Dahlin. We managed to get Dahlin by some miracle. We actually won the draft lottery, one of the only few things we've won this year. Obviously, they're overalls, but they're up in the AHL right now, so it doesn't even matter. But there's our franchise potential players right there. It's funny that we have 4 guys who, three players who are elite, and one guy who's a top 4 defenseman who have higher trade value than all of my high franchise potential defensemen, which is pretty funny. And then as we go to the goaltenders, yeah, that guy will be able to get you a superstar player if you decide to deal him off. That trade value is a little bit less than what Sidney Crosby and Connor McDavid have in this game. Still pretty crazy. So let's go to Sim and let's go through year number 7. I think that's our first 2-game win streak of the entire year, of the entire simulation. I mean, it didn't last long, but still, that's an accomplishment. We had 7 long years to see something like that. Okay guys, so the year 7 simulation has been completed, and I am very happy with the team's results this year. 18 wins, 56 losses, and 8 overtime losses, 44 points in total. They got the win total that I wanted them to get the previous year, or the year before that, when I wanted them to get around 14 wins. They got 18 wins this year, so they're almost in the 20s for win totals, which is awesome. 8 overtime losses, and a lot of their losses obviously are very, very close games, and most of the games that they did lose, as you guys can see here, like 2-1s, 3-1 losses. Obviously there were some games where they got completely shut out, but still, it's nice to see that they competed a lot of shootout wins, a lot of overtime wins. The point totals are definitely there. We had a 20 goal scorer right there, so the second line center got 43 points with 20 goals, 51 points for the power forward, which is nice to see. 37, 36, 27. There's all the point totals. Still very much in the minus players section, and everybody on the team got a point this year. Is this the beginning of the turnaround? That defenseman finally got a point. His first point, and it was a goal too. His very first point in 7 years. He is on the board, boys. He is on the board. So there's our point totals right there. Let's check out the goaltender stats. I definitely think they played very, very well. Yeah, the starting goaltender did pretty well this year. He actually did really, really nice in the backup role. The starter still did not too bad. He's up to a 91 now, my goodness. But 10, 15, and 2 for the backup, 8, 42, and 6 for the starter. .925 and .931 save percentages, which are really good. Goals against averages in like the high 2s, which is, it's a little bit iffy for a starter in today's NHL, but for our team and what we're dealing with, that's still absolutely phenomenal, to say the least. No points for either of them, but overall a really, really good year. Our best year yet, once again. I know I keep saying that year in and year out, but it is, statistically and point wise, that has been our best year so far. So let us go through the off season, and I'll see you guys at the beginning of year number 8. Alright guys, I think this could be a very good year for the boys. Look at the offense right now. First off, look at the top 9. Bravo, bravo forwards. You guys are looking very, very nice out there. I'm debating on whether or not I want to move the second line center up to the first line, since he is 83 overall, but that playmaker I think is just way too good. If the first line power forward is getting pretty much all the points, I think I should just leave them there, and that way we have some nice center depth. The way they're progressing is pretty nice. But so we have 83, 82, 83 on the first. The third liner is still going to stay up there on the second, 80, 83, 83. The fourth liner is still going to stay there on the third. Third line center still stays the same. Fourth liner on the third pair up there, and then the second line, fourth line, and third line, all players right there on the fourth. So, I mean, our top 9 looks pretty decent, to say the least. It looks not bad. The fourth line is a little bit meh. Fourth line's a little bit meh. Also, I wanted to notice this right now. The Enforcer still has 36 fighting skill, which I find pretty hilarious. I think when I was creating the player and I made him an Enforcer, I don't think I changed his fighting tendency, so he might just be like a never or a rarely type of fighter personality, I guess you could say, when you create the player and how often he fights. I don't think I changed that. So that might be the reason why his fighting skill is down there. Well, it could be, or either that, or he's just a terrible fighter. Probably got the same fighting skill as Rick T. Pietro.
Oh, hit him with a lefty punch.
As we move on to the defense now, 83 up at the top, 82 in the middle, 81 and a 78 down low. And then as we go to the goaltenders, wow almighty, 94, he got better, He went from a 90 to a 94, and the backup went from a 85 to an 88. So each of them, the starter, the backup went up The backup, which is the starter, went up 4, and the starter, which is the backup, went up 3 from the previous year. So now we have a 94 overall goaltender with 83 overall, like 83 and 82 overall defensemen, and mostly 83, 80 overall forwards. I think we're gonna be a good team. I want to say we're gonna be a good team this year. What do you guys think are our expectations for this year? We've had 18 wins last year. I think we have to get, like, try to get at least like high 20s. I really do. I think this team has the capability of getting high 20 wins this year. Okay, the team went 4-2-1 in the preseason, and they started off the year with a shootout win, so I'll take that. That was our first time over 500 in 8 years of simulating, which is absolutely crazy. And then we go drop right down below 500, but still, that first game of the year, it was there. That 1-0, 1-0. We were probably up at the top of the NHL for a very brief moment. Hey, there's our first 3-game win streak of our NHL career. 4-game win streak now. All right, keep going, boys. 5-game win streak now by the team. Okay, this is a franchise record set right here. 6-game winning streak right now. Okay, guys, I see you right now. 7-game winning streak, or 6. I completely just forgot right now. Okay, the winning streak's over, but the point streak is now still active. Okay, not bad. 20, 26, and 6. Okay, guys, so the year number 8 simulation has ended. I want you guys to take a look at our division really quickly. You guys see what I see? You guys see what I see? We're not the worst team in the league anymore. The Yonkers Studs are no longer the laughingstock of the NHL. They are not the worst team in the league anymore. 73 points this year, 33, 42, and 7, capped off by like a 6-game or a 7-game winning streak throughout this season, which was amazing. They had a point streak going as well, and honestly, they were hovering around near 500 for most of the entire season, which was crazy. We beat 6 teams in the NHL right now. We were like the 7th worst team in the NHL, which was crazy to think about. The plus minuses are getting a lot better. 52 points once again for that power forward. He's still tearing it up. 48 points for that guy. The second pair of defensemen had 37 points, which is nuts to get 36 assists for 37 points. A couple guys in the 30-point range, as you guys can see. Lots of guys in the teens. And did that defender get a point again? Yeah, he did. That's 2 consecutive years with a point, so I'll take it. And the goaltenders did an amazing job this year once again. The backup, who was our starter, almost went 500 on the year, which is crazy. A save percentage of .944, which is unheard of for like starts in a season. .919 for the backup. Look at the goals against, 1.86. The guy might win the Vezina trophy this year with a negative win-loss ratio. I'll have to go take a look at that and see if he actually might have won the Vezina. That's another successful year. That one is the year I was hoping for. I was hoping for high 20 wins, but low 30 wins, and everybody's going to be getting better again this year. So who knows what could happen next year. I think next year could be the chance the team can finally make the playoffs. Let's go to the year number 9. Let's find out. Feast your eyes, guys, on the year 9 lineup. We have an 85 on the first line and 2 84s. 82, 84, 83. 81, 83, 81. 76, 76, 75. Relatively the same, only went up maybe like 1 or 2 overalls on a couple players. Most stayed relatively the same. Maybe one got a little bit better. The offense, this is going to be their last pretty much big chance here to get something done on offense. I think they do have it done. They do have the ability to get it done. And you know what? It's funny how their shooting stats aren't really going up all too much. They're staying, you know, very weak. That's probably why they do struggle sometimes with scoring goals. If you look at all their shooting stats, it's pretty mediocre. And somebody, I believe, left a comment in one of the videos saying why the reasoning for that is, and it kind of makes sense when I put it into perspective. The early years when this team is struggling, they were playing mostly, if not all the time, in their defensive zone, which is the reasoning why most, if not almost everybody on this team has like a 5 or a 4.5 star defensive category, because they're so well, I guess, so well trained of playing in the defensive zone all the time throughout all those years. It just boosted up those stats instead of increasing the you know, the shooting stats and things like that of what they should have been doing. Defensively, 284s in the top pair, 83, 83 on the second, 83 and 79 on the fourth. It's still a pretty decent looking defensive core that could rival a bunch of NHL teams like in the first year for sure. And then if we go to the goaltenders, he went up by 1, so he's a 95 now, and the starting goaltender went up to an 89. Notice that he also lost his franchise potential. He now has dropped from high franchise to high elite. I think he's the only player on the team that actually lost. Actually, no, a bunch of the forwards did. I just realized that they lost all their franchise potentials. He's only top 6. Yeah, all these guys are top 6. Bottom 6, yep, for these guys, so they definitely lost their franchise potential. They're no longer franchise potential anymore. And look at that on the defense, top 4s, top 6s. I can't even name the series anymore. Clickbait, right? Nonetheless, even though they did lose their potential, this is the last year pretty much for them to get their potential increases, because once the clock passes January 1st, every single player on this team will turn 27 years old. Meaning that they will not get potential growth next year, only statistical growth. So this team will continue to grow, but only statistically, not through their potentials anymore. So we have year 9 ahead of us. Everybody has lost their franchise potential on this team to become an absolute star in the NHL, but hopefully this growth will be able to get this team into a playoff spot this year. Let's see if they can get it done. I'll see you guys at the end of year number 9. Alright guys, so the year number 9 simulation has ended. The team did better than last year. They got 77 points, 33, 38, and 11. I was so disappointed with this team, and they were off to such a good start. They were above 500 after the first month. I think they were like 7-5 and 2, I believe, after the first month, which was really awesome to see. They had an amazing start to the year. They lost like the first couple, but then they definitely had a nice little good win streak going where they would usually win like 2 games and then lose 1, win 3 games and then lose 1, but they really just couldn't keep that pattern up, and it ultimately caught up to them. They were at 500 going into the trade deadline. I think they were like 27 and 26 before this game against the Winnipeg Jets, and then whatever amount of overtime losses they were at. They were above 500 going into the trade deadline, which was something we have not seen in a long time, but they couldn't keep it up. I'm assuming the poise factor played a big role in why they were losing so many games down the stretch. I don't think they would have made a playoff spot. They would have had to go on an absolute monstrous tear to make it, but unfortunately they will not be making the playoffs here in year number 9. So once again guys, here is our point totals. 53 points once again for that first line. Right winger, the power forward, again, great job by him, 53 points, 42 for the center. The left winger got 39, 35 points for the second liner, 30s all throughout there. Was it the 3rd straight year? Yes, it was. He got 2 points actually. He had his best statistical year to date. He got 2 points. He got an assist along with that goal, and good job by him nonetheless. He got 2 points. Everybody on the team got points. The goaltender, once again, probably absolutely killed it. Yeah, they did pretty well. Our starter almost was a 500 goalie. 22, 24, and 6, 11, 14, and 5, both of which had very good years. Look at the goals against average. Not as good as last year. That last year's goals against average, under 2, was ridiculous for season stats. Player rewards. Yep, he did win. He won the Hart Memorial Trophy, so the MVP to his team. He was the Hart Memorial Trophy winner last year, was our starting goaltender. Anybody else get that? Yep, he won the Vezina that year. I think that might be the first time in NHL history where a goalie with a negative win-loss ratio and record for the season won the Vezina Trophy. That's actually pretty damn ridiculous. He also won the Ted Lindsay Award too. That is it right there. I'm not going to simulate until year number 10. We'll do that in the next video. So yes, there will be a part number 4. I don't know how many more years I'm going to simulate with this team, but we're just going to investigate and see what happens going into year number 10 with the team and what the potential overall increases are going to be. So I'm a little bit bummed out. I definitely expected a little bit more from the team. You guys can leave your suggestions down below for future videos and for suggestions with this team. Thank you guys for watching. If you did enjoy, make sure to leave a like, comment, subscribe as always. Check out my other franchise mini simulation tests that we have done. Make sure to watch part number 2 and part number 1 if you guys have not seen them already. I don't know why you're watching this one if you haven't seen the first 2. Make sure to go check it out. Other than that, I'll see you guys for part number 4, where we go into year number 10, and we'll probably end it off with this team.